I had a business idea about a year ago and I put all the wheels in motion, and just when I was about to launch, I freaked the F out and I didn't launch. After several conversations with my husband and some friends over the last couple of weeks, I took some time to reflect on what the heck happened in my own brain and why I was the only thing to stop this from moving forward. And I realized that there were three key elements that were holding me back within my own head. And one of the reasons that I'm sharing is, one, to keep me accountable. I know mostly it's going to be my friends and family that watch this. So I know that you guys will keep me accountable. But number two, if somehow, somewhere this does get to somebody else who has already experienced this and they are past this area of the mental game, and you have some recommendations or suggestions on that, getting to that next element, I'm all ears, but I'm going to try to make myself share along the way to mostly keep myself accountable. So here we go. I have been a professional dancer for the last 20 years, and during that time I was a high-level competitor. I owned dance studios. I did relatively well in that particular career path, and I did scary things, and I was trying to reflect on why those scary things didn't feel as scary as why this felt. And the first thing that I realized was I had a massive, massive fear of failure. In my dance career, I had worked really, really hard, and I had won quite a few Australian titles, and I managed to get second place in the world 3 times. But second place wasn't the goal, first place was. And there was a part of me that realized that when I look back on my competitive career, I didn't reach that goal. Second place is really good, and that took me a long time to be able to get there to say that. But I didn't want to walk away from this with the potential, which of course there's always that potential, that this might be another thing that I had set a goal and I failed at. The second thing came from a realization I had when I had a walk with a friend, and she had mentioned that when she meets someone new and that inevitable question of what do you do for a living comes up, she always says what she does now, which she's a rock star at, but then also says, but I used to be this. And I realized in that moment that the high-level competitor, the dance studio owning, full-time gigging, performing person that I saw myself as, I saw that as a part of my identity, and it was almost as if I was afraid of losing some of my identity by doing this business, when in actual fact, dancing, performing, teaching, that's not my identity. They're things that I do. And I really struggled with that for some reason, as silly as that sounds. I don't know if that was my ego or that was something else, but yeah, I felt like a part of me that was letting that go, when in actual fact, it's not letting it go. I could still teach. I could still perform if I really wanted to. I could try and compete. Probably wouldn't go very well now. But, you know, like it was that strange kind of like thing in my head that I had to move past. And lastly, self-doubt was freaking massive for me. I had hung up my competitive shoes in 2018. From reflecting in 2018, I realized that what I had as the goal of coming first place required more energy and time and sacrifice than I had the capability of giving anymore at that particular point in my life of where I was at. And then 2020, with COVID, that hung up my full-time performing and gigging shoes from there. And I was still teaching very passionately. I am still teaching very passionately. However, my body is not able to do it in the way that it used to do it. I can't even teach 2 hours of a highly active, engaged class without my back really giving me a lot of pain. And although wedding couples I can teach, I could still smash out 8 wedding couples, but that's because it's not me having to dance the whole lesson. And I then all of a sudden felt all of this weight on my shoulders that I can either go out and get a job that I don't love, work with people who don't love their jobs. Of course, maybe I'll find a job where they do. But being the age I am and not having qualifications in anything else, it's not just as simple as, and I really didn't want to do that because I was so drawn to trying this business, and I just doubted myself that if I didn't pull this off, will I have wasted my husband and my money and our time and our energy, because he's put a lot of work into this as well. And so instead of hitting go at launch time, I hit stop. And I just did nothing. And at the time, for me and Daniel, we had some things in our life that required some more energy and some more attention that had to be focused. And I almost used that as an excuse as, oh, now we have that. No, not almost, I did. I used that as an excuse that, okay, we have this. I'm going to focus on the launch again afterwards. And then things calmed down and we had more space and energy, and I didn't hit play on the launch again. And then that's where I got to where I am now, where I've had to take some time back and go, what is going on here? Are we freaking doing this or not? Because if we're not, we got a bunch of stock in our spare bedroom that you got to do something with, move it some way. So now I'm about to press go on a launch plan. And so I'm using this video to keep me accountable. I plan on posting some of the journey along the way. So let's freaking go.